She was just the staff, until the billionaire heard her play. "What do you think you're doing?" The sharp voice sliced through the silence of the empty restaurant. Olivia's fingers froze above the piano keys. Her heart jumped. She wasn't supposed to be here. Not like this. Not after hours. Not lost in music. Not with a man like James Blackwood watching her from the shadow. A man who would soon destroy everything she loved. The last table had been cleared. The wine glasses sparkled under the soft lights, and the hush of closing time wrapped around Lumiere, the kind of place where the rich came to feel even richer. Olivia Reed moved quickly, wiping down the bar, stacking menus, her black flats nearly silent on the polished floor. Her shift was finally over. But tonight, something wouldn't let her go home. Her eyes drifted to the corner where the grand piano stood, untouched, regal. She could almost hear it calling her. Just one song. Just a few minutes. No one was here. No one ever noticed her. She approached slowly, her fingers brushing the keys, heart pounding like she was breaking a rule written in stone. For a moment, Olivia forgot the sore ache in her feet, the weight of the world pressing down. She let herself drift. She didn't hear the footsteps, didn't see the figure standing in the doorway. Until that voice, he asked with a stab, "What do you think you're doing?" She turned, breath caught in her throat, facing Michael, the restaurant manager, his face tight with anger. But behind him, almost hidden in the dim light, was a man she didn't expect. Tall, composed, with eyes that saw too much. "I'm sorry. I thought everyone had left," Olivia stammered. "Piano is not for staff entertainment." "I apologize. It won't happen again." She grabbed her apron, cheeks burning, her sanctuary shattered. But then, the man in the suit stepped forward. "Actually, I requested she play." The room shifted. Michael's entire posture changed, like a puppet yanked by invisible strings. "Mr. Blackwood, I had no idea. I was finishing work in the private dining room," he said. "It was quite remarkable." Olivia's breath hitched. James Blackwood. The name echoed in her chest like a warning bell. The man whose company was set to demolish the Madison Street Music School, the place that had given her music, given her hope, after her parents died. Her voice was tight. "Thank you, Mr. Blackwood, but I should get back to work." He studied her, something unreadable in his eyes. "Olivia Reed. You play beautifully, Miss Reed. Chopin's Nocturne Op. 9? No, 2 if I'm not mistaken." She froze again. He knew. "You know classical music. My mother was a pianist." There was a flicker in his gaze, something softer. But Olivia didn't care. She didn't have space in her heart for millionaire developers with smooth words. Not when he was about to destroy the only place that had ever felt like home. That night in her tiny apartment, Olivia sat in silence. Her roommate Diana watched her from the couch. "You're late. Rough night." Olivia kicked off her shoes with a sigh. "I got caught playing the piano." "Oh no. Did Michael flip?" "Started to, but then James Blackwood stepped in. Said he asked me to play." Diana blinked. "The James Blackwood, the one tearing down your music school?" "You're safe." And nothing. He's just like all of them. Rich, untouchable. And now he's buying up memories." Diana leaned forward. "But he listened, Liv. Maybe he's different." Olivia shook her head. Men like him didn't see women like her. She was just invisible. But as she lay in bed that night, eyes wide open, the memory of his voice lingered. "You play beautifully, Miss Reed." Professional courtese, a shadow in the spotlight. The next evening, Olivia tied her apron tighter than usual, fingers fumbling as the familiar pressure of another shift at Lumiere weighed on her. She hadn't slept well. Every time she closed her eyes, she heard his voice. James Blackwood. She hated how it lingered, how his presence still echoed through her mind. Don't let him get in your head, she muttered, checking her tables. The restaurant buzzed with the usual hum of expensive laughter and clinking glasses, but as she turned toward table 7, her breath caught. He was there, again. Alone, a file of papers in front of him, pen in hand, eyes scanning but not seeing. Her heart thudded. "Third time this week," Diana whispered as she passed, her tray balanced effortlessly. "He's back for you." Olivia rolled her eyes. "It's just coincidence." "Coincidence doesn't request you specifically, Liv." She straightened her shoulders, walked over and pasted on her most professional smile. "Good evening, Mr. Blackwood. May I take your order?" He looked up, his gaze softening. "Miss Reed, please, call me James." "I prefer to keep things professional, Mr. Blackwood." A pause. "Very well," he ordered simply. "Sea bass, white wine." But the silence between them was far from simple. As she turned to leave, his voice stopped her. "Do you have any upcoming performances?" Olivia froze, hands gripping the tray tighter. "I don't perform. We heard you the other night." That wasn't a performance. That was nothing. James studied her as if he could see the walls she built and the cracks in between. "My mother used to say the purest music comes when you believe no one is listening." Olivia didn't respond. She didn't trust herself to. Later, when the shift ended and the city air was cool against her skin, Olivia stood outside the restaurant, her jacket wrapped tight. The streets were nearly empty, save for a sleek black car idling nearby. She didn't expect the window to roll down. "Do you need a ride?" James's voice, softer this time, almost tentative. "No," she said, too quickly. You don't look fine." "I don't need saving." "I never said you did." There was something in his eyes, not pity, but recognition, like he knew what it meant to stand alone. And that terrified her more than anything. The next day, Olivia sat at the small keyboard in her apartment, fingers hovering but not playing. Diana dropped onto the couch, a takeout box in hand. "He's not like the others, you know." James Blackwood. Olivia didn't look up. "He's a developer. He's tearing down my past. He's also listening." "To what?" Olivia shook her head. "He doesn't care." "None of them do." Diana set the food down, crossing her arms. "So why did he come back? Why does he keep coming back?" A week passed. Then another. And he returned, again and again. Always sitting at table 7. Always asking for her. Sometimes he'd stay late, papers untouched, just listening to the restaurant's background music or her brief replies. And slowly, something shifted. Not in him, in her. One night, after the last table cleared, Olivia sat at the piano again, just for a moment, just for herself. But before her fingers could press the first note, she felt it. That gaze. "You again," she whispered, not turning. "I'm beginning to think this is your stage." "You make it one." Silence stretched between them. "I was wrong," James said quietly. "I didn't know who you were, what this place, that school, meant to you." She turned, eyes narrowed. "What does it matter?" "Because I'm not the man you think I am. And I'm not the woman you see." They stood there, years of pain, ambition, fear tangled between them. "Why do you keep coming here?" she demanded. "Because the night I heard you play, I remembered something I thought I'd lost." "What?" My mother's smile. Her breath caught. "I don't need your memories," she said, voice shaking. "I need you to leave that school alone." "General," James stepped closer, the distance between them almost gone. "It's not that simple." "Ever is," Olivia whispered. And with that, she left the piano behind. That night, as rain tapped against her window, Olivia opened the old photograph she kept in a box under her bed, the one of her as a child sitting at the Madison Street piano, her small hands guided by Mrs. Peterson. She missed that girl, the one who believed in music, in hope, but hope had no place here. Not with men like James Blackwood. Section 2, a past that won't stay. Buried. Rain hammered against the city, relentless, cold, unforgiving. Olivia pulled her coat tighter around her as she hurried toward the small coffee shop near the West Side Community Center, her breath fogged in the air, heart still pounding from the night before. She hadn't told Diana. She hadn't told anyone. About James. About what he said. I remembered something I thought I'd lost. His mother. Why did it matter now? Inside, the warmth was immediate, but Olivia's chest still felt tight. She ordered tea, not because she wanted it, but because she needed to sit, to think. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She ignored it. Later that afternoon, Diana barged into their apartment, soaked and breathless. You are not going to believe this. Olivia barely looked up from her notebook. Try me. You know the recital at Westside. They added you to the program. What? I signed you up last month, remember? They moved your spot up. Diana, you have to play, Liv. It's 2 days away, just one piece. Olivia's throat went dry. The thought of performing, of freezing again, made her stomach twist. I can't. You can, Diana insisted. You just don't want to feel that way again. That night, Olivia sat at her keyboard, fingers resting on the cold plastic keys. She closed her eyes. And there it was, the memory, sharp as glass. Colin. The recital hall, lights blinding, her hands trembling. And then... But now, another image forced its way in. Jem, sitting quietly at table 7, listening, not judging. The next evening, Olivia stood behind the bar, pouring wine, lost in thought. Michael approached. Mr. Blackwood is asking for you. Her breath hitched. She wiped her hands, steadied herself, and walked toward table 7. James looked up, his expression unreadable. Good evening, Olivia. Mr. Blackwood. You didn't come to the music school yesterday. She blinked. Why would I? Indicola. I thought you might want to see it, one last time. Her chest tightened. You're still going through with it. His voice hoarse. Have to, the contracts are signed. Olivia clenched her fists. Then why are you here? James leaned back, studying her. Because I wanted to say goodbye properly. To watch him. Later that night, Olivia sat alone, staring at her old sheet music. Goodbye. The word echoed, hollow. 2 days later. The recital hall was smaller than she remembered, intimate, maybe 20 people, friends, neighbors, no critics, no pressure. Except the weight she put on herself. Olivia peeked through the curtain. Diana waved from the back row. And then she saw him, James, standing, watching. Her heart stumbled. When they announced her name, Olivia walked out, legs weak. The piano waited. She sat, hands poised. The room was too quiet. Then she saw him, not in the front but the back, like always, listening. She breathed, and she played. The first notes trembled, but slowly they grew, deeper, stronger. She didn't freeze. She didn't run. She played. When the last note faded, the applause was gentle, warm. But when she looked up, James was gone. Later, back at Lumiere, Olivia found an envelope tucked into her locker. Inside, a letter, handwritten. Olivia, I never believed in fate, only decisions. But the night I heard you play, something changed. I saw the world I'd left behind, a world my mother loved, and I ran from. I'm sorry for the school. I can't stop it now, but I can help you. Enclosed is an invitation. The Westmore Fellowship. I've arranged for your audition. If you want it. If you still believe in music. James. Her hands trembled. The next day. Are you going? Diana asked, wide-eyed. I don't know exactly where I went, I said. I pushed the button for the lift, then turned to Ivy. Why not? This is what you've always wanted. Olivia looked away. What if I'm not good enough? Diana's voice softened. What if you are? She stood at the window, watching the rain blur the city lights. James Blackwood was trying to disappear, but something in her heart wouldn't let him. 2 nights later. Olivia returned to Lumiere for her shift, her steps heavier than usual. Michael pulled her aside. Has someone in your section, table 7? Her chest tightened. She walked over slowly, but it wasn't James. It was an older man, sharp suit, colder eyes. Smiled, Victorine. Yes. I'm Victor Reed, James's business partner. He gestured to the chair. Please. Olivia sat. Where? I wanted to meet the woman who's had such influence. She frowned. I don't know what you mean. Victor leaned in. James is changing, losing focus over a waitress. Her face flushed. I didn't ask for his attention. Yet you have it. And now he's risking everything. I don't control his choices. Victor smiled thinly. No, but you can walk away. Section 3. The weight of choices. The rain didn't let up. It poured down New York streets like a cleansing, or maybe a warning. Olivia stood frozen, soaked, the city's chaos muted by the pounding in her chest. James was in front of her. Not polished, not guarded, but raw, like she'd never seen him. I never told you what I'm afraid to lose again. Her voice trembled, barely above a whisper. Then tell me. James exhaled, looking away for a long moment, like the words cost him. Myself, he said. They stood there in silence, cars rushing past, horns blaring in the distance. Finally, Olivia shook her head. You're afraid of losing yourself. James, you're the one destroying what matters. I know, he said, voice heavy. Then why? Because I didn't think any of it mattered. Until you... She took a step back, heart pounding. You can't do this. You can't come here, say things like that, and expect me to just forget. I don't expect anything. James stepped closer, his hand reaching, then dropping. I just needed you to know. Olivia didn't answer. She turned, walking fast through the rain, his words chasing her. That night, the envelope from Westmore Fellowship lay unopened on her desk. Diana sat nearby, scrolling through her phone. You saw him? Olivia nodded. And nothing. Diana put her phone down. That's not true. Olivia's hands clenched into fists. He said he can't stop the demolition. He's giving you a way out. I don't want his charity. It's not charity, Liv. It's belief. Later, Olivia sat alone, staring at her reflection. Who was she now? A girl who used to believe in music, in herself. But life, grief, fear, betrayal had stolen that. And James? He was just another man who made promises too late. The next morning, Olivia went to the Madison Street Music School. It was quiet. Duffy. Forgotten. She walked the halls, memories pressing in from every side. The old piano stood in the corner, keys chipped, the scent of aged wood thick in the air. She sat, pressed one note, then another. Her hands moved slowly, almost reverently, as if waking a ghost. A voice echoed behind her. "I used to sit right there, you know." Olivia turned. An elderly man, cane in hand, stood in the doorway. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean—" "It's all right. I'm Harold Bennett, former director here. You must be—" "Olivia." Her eyes widened. "How do you—" "I remember every student, especially the ones who played with their heart." She smiled, just a little. "I haven't played here in years. I've heard." They sat together in the fading light, surrounded by memories. "She taught me everything," Olivia said softly. "Mrs. Peterson, after my parents died, this place saved me." Bennett nodded. "This building holds more than music. It holds lives. Yours, mine, even James." Olivia frowned. "What?" "His mother, Eleanor Blackwood. She learned here too, before she became a Blackwood." The room tilted. "No, that's not possible." "But it is. She was one of our finest." Olivia left the school with her heart pounding, head spinning. Why hadn't James told her? Why had he hidden this piece of himself? That night she found herself outside his office building. She didn't think, she just went. Thomas, his assistant, looked up, startled. Smirked. "I need to see him." Thomas hesitated. "He's busy. There's a meeting." "Please." After a moment, Thomas nodded. She stepped into the sleek office, the city lights sprawling behind James' desk. He looked up, eyes tired. He asked, "You came? You lied?" His brows furrowed. "About what?" "Your mother, Madison Street." James's face hardened, then softened. "I didn't lie. I just didn't know how to tell you. Because I thought it would make this harder." She stared at him, hurt rippling through her. "You say you're afraid of losing yourself, but James, you already have." They stood in silence, the space between them too wide. "You should go," he said quietly. "I have the fellowship audition next week," she replied. His eyes flickered. "Good." Days passed. James didn't come to Lumiere. No messages, no visits. Olivia tried to focus on her music, on the audition, but the silence pressed in. Victor's words haunted her. "You can walk away." But she didn't want to. Not like this. Fellowship day. The hall was bright, sterile, intimidating. 3 judges. 1 piano. Olivia took her place, hands steady. She played. Not for them, but for her. When she finished, one of the judges smiled. "You've grown." She blinked. "Excuse me. I taught at Madison Street, years ago." Her heart leapt. "Miss P.S. It's in your blood." Outside, her phone buzzed. A message from Thomas. "James is losing the board. Victor is pushing for removal. He won't fight back." Her chest tightened. Section 4, Between Love and Letting Go. The sun dipped low over Manhattan, casting long shadows through Olivia's apartment window. The city below was alive, but in her chest, silence. She clutched her phone, Thomas's message still glowing on the screen. He won't fight back. Her heart pounded. Was James really going to let Victor win? Let them take everything. Diana burst through the door, eyes wide. "Did you hear?" Olivia looked up, numb. "Hear what?" The board called an emergency meeting. They're voting to remove James as CEO tonight. What had happened? Olivia's voice cracked. Diana nodded. He's not even showing up to defend himself. The air rushed from Olivia's lungs. No, she whispered, standing so fast the chair scraped the floor. No, he can't just give up. Diana stepped in her way. Liv, you've done enough. No, I haven't. Minutes later, Olivia stood outside the towering Blackwood development building, heart racing, hair tangled from the wind. Security tried to stop her, but Thomas appeared. Missions with me. The boardroom was full. Men and women in suits, cold eyes, clipped voices. At the far end, Jams sitting alone, silent. Victor stood confidently, papers in hand. We're here because Mr. Blackwood's recent decisions have cost this company millions. James? Olivia's voice rang out. Heads turned. James looked up, startled. Victor scowled. This is a closed meeting. Staying, James said softly. Olivia stepped forward, her voice steady despite the fear. You're wrong about him. Victor laughed. Excuse me. You think he's weak because he chose something meaningful over profit, but he's the strongest man I know. Jam's eyes met hers, something flickering there. Hope, or maybe pain. He saved Madison Street not for me, but for his mother, for your community, for the memory of what matters. A woman at the table cleared her throat. Ms. Reed, with respect, this is a business, not a charity. I know, Olivia replied, and businesses are run by people, people who need more than numbers to guide them. Victor slammed his hand on the table. Enough! This isn't about sentiment, it's about leadership. Olivia turned to James. Fight, she whispered. Please. But James stood slowly, his face unreadable. I'm done fighting. A murmur swept through the room. Victor smiled. Then I propose a vote. Olivia's heart shattered as hands rose, one by one, in favor of removal. Later, the office was quiet. James stood by the window, staring out at the city he no longer ruled. Olivia approached slowly. You let them win. He didn't turn. I couldn't ask you to watch me lose. I didn't care about that, she said, voice breaking. I cared about you. James exhaled. You have your fellowship now. Go. She stepped closer, tears in her eyes. Is that what you want? Silence. Because I wanted you to be proud. I wanted you to believe in me, the way I believed in you. James turned, his eyes filled with something deep, unspoken. But the space between them was wider than ever. Days passed. James disappeared. No calls, no messages. Olivia received her official fellowship acceptance, a ticket to Paris, waiting. Diana packed her bags, but Olivia hesitated. One night, alone in the apartment, she sat at her keyboard. She played, not for the world, not even for James, but for herself. Each note a memory, a promise. And then something shifted. She knew what she had to do. The next morning, Olivia returned to Madison Street Music School. The building was quiet but alive with possibility. Professor Bennett greeted her with a smile. You've come back. She nodded. Not just to play, she said. To rebuild. Section 5. A choice between loyalty and love. The late afternoon light filtered softly through the stained glass windows of Madison Street Music School. Dust motes danced like forgotten memories, golden in the quiet. Olivia stood in the center of the grand hall, heart pounding. She could still feel them, the ghosts of children's laughter, the distant echo of her first recital, the warmth of Mrs. Peterson's voice guiding her trembling hands over the keys. But it wasn't the past she was here for now. It was the future. Professor Bennett approached, a stack of blueprints under his arm. "You sure about this?" he asked gently. Olivia nodded, resolve hardening in her chest. "I can't run from it anymore. Music saved me once. It's time I gave something back." Together they spread the plans over the dusty piano. Community classes, local performances, a sanctuary for kids like she once was. But as Olivia traced the lines of the proposed renovations, her thoughts drifted. Bridges. Where was he? Did he even know what she was doing? Across town, James sat in a dimly lit office, not his. Not anymore. Victor's voice echoed in his head from that last brutal meeting. "You never had the stomach for this. You never will." James's hands curled into fists. But what Victor didn't know, what he never understood, was that James hadn't walked away because he was weak. He'd walked away because Olivia mattered more. And now she was gone. A knock broke the silence. Thomas entered, hesitating. "I thought you should know. Madison Street's reopening plans just went public. Olivia's leading it." James's breath caught. "Rebuilding it?" Thomas nodded. "Without you." That evening, Olivia stood outside the school, the city's neon glow a stark contrast to the warm light spilling from the windows. The first open house was set for tomorrow, but tonight it was just her and the weight of everything she had left behind. Diana appeared beside her, holding 2 coffees. "You okay?" Olivia took a sip, nodding. "It's just strange. I thought if I saved this place, I'd feel whole." "And you don't?" "I feel proud, but something's missing." Diana gave her a knowing look. "You mean someone?" Meanwhile, James paced his apartment, Olivia's name on the tip of every thought. He'd written and rewritten that letter 100 times. But words weren't enough. He needed to see her. The next morning, Madison Street buzzed with life. Families filled the halls, children peeking into classrooms, laughter ringing off freshly painted walls. Olivia moved among them, smiling, directing, guiding. But every time she turned, she expected to see him. And every time she didn't. Until the crowd parted. And there he was. James, standing in the doorway, uncertain, out of place, but there. Their eyes locked, and for a moment, the world fell away. She crossed the room, heart racing. "Why are you here?" Her voice was barely above a whisper. "Jax," James looked around. "You saved it." "We saved it," she corrected softly. He shook his head. "You did this, without me." "You left," Olivia's voice cracked. "I needed you. I thought I was doing the right thing, letting you go, letting you shine." The silence stretched. Then Olivia spoke, her voice fierce and trembling. "Don't you get it? I didn't need you to disappear. I needed you to fight. For me. For this." James stepped closer. "I didn't know how. Ben learned." He reached into his pocket, pulling out a worn letter. "I came to tell you, I'm staying, not as a CEO, as a man who finally knows what matters." Olivia's breath hitched. "I don't want your money, James. I'm not offering it." He paused. "I'm offering you a privilege, a curse, a mercy." Tears filled her eyes. "Are you sure?" "For the first time in my life." She laughed through the tears and threw her arms around him. And just like that, the missing piece fell into place. Section 6. Love in the shadows, truth in the light. For a while, everything felt right. The Madison Street Music School thrived with new life. Children's laughter echoed in the halls again, pianos filled the rooms with music, and Olivia, for the first time in years, felt like she was exactly where she belonged. And James? He was by her side. Not as a millionaire, not as a developer, but as a man. A man learning what it meant to stay. They walked the halls together after hours, planning renovations, dreaming of what the school could become. He'd show up with coffee, sometimes flowers, and always that look, the one that said, "You matter more than anything." And she believed it, until the world noticed. One morning, Diana rushed into the school's office, her phone in hand, face pale. "You need to see this." Olivia took the phone, brows furrowed. There it was. A tabloid headline splashed across the screen. "Waitress turned heiress. Olivia Reed's cozy ties to disgraced CEO James Blackwood." Below it, a photo. Her and James, standing outside the school, smiling. His hand brushing her back, her eyes on him. Captured. Twisted. Her stomach turned. Where did this come from? Diana bit her lip. Everywhere, it's spreading. Later that day, the reporters came. They waited outside Madison Street, cameras flashing, voices loud. "Miss Reed, are you dating James Blackwood? Did he fund a school just to get close to you? It's his redemption plan. Or yours?" James tried to shield her from it, but the damage was done. That night, in the quiet of her apartment, Olivia sat across from him, her hands clenched. "This is too much," she whispered. "I'm handling it," James said firmly. "The PR team." "I don't care about your team. I care about what people are saying." "You don't know you?" he asked. "They don't know us." James stood pacing. To the merchant, "Let them talk." "I can't," Olivia's voice cracked. "This school, my music, it's everything I've worked for. I won't let them turn it into a scandal." He turned, eyes dark. "What are you saying?" She swallowed hard. "I need space." James's face fell. "You're pushing me away." "I'm protecting what matters." He shook his head. His voice hindered. Then Olivia whispered, tears in her throat. "I'm afraid of losing myself in you." Days passed. James stayed away. The school buzzed with activity, but Olivia felt empty, the notes of her life falling out of tune. Then came the invitation. A featured performance at the Westmore Gala, the perfect opportunity to solidify her reputation, to prove she was more than a headline. Diana was thrilled. "This is it, Liv. You're making it." But Olivia hesitated, because she knew who wouldn't be there. Across town, James sat in his apartment, the same tabloid photo in his hands. Victor's voice haunted him. "You'll never escape your name, James, or her shame." He picked up his phone 100 times, never dialed, until Thomas arrived, holding a small envelope. It was from the Westmore Foundation. James opened it slowly. Her name at the top of the program. Olivia Reed, headlining pianist. His chest tightened. A gala night. The grand hall shimmered with elegance, chandeliers casting soft light over New York's elite. Olivia stood backstage, dressed in midnight blue, her fingers trembling. Diana squeezed her hand. "Do you belong here?" But as she stepped onto the stage, something was missing. She sat at the grand piano, the crowd silent, expectant. Her hands hovered over the keys. She closed her eyes. And for a moment she was back at Lumiere, playing alone, thinking no one listened. But someone did. She opened her eyes, looked into the crowd. And there, standing at the back, Jem, not hiding, not running, there. The first note rang out, soft, pure. And she played. For him. her for all they had lost and all they still might find. When the final chord faded, the applause was thunderous. But Olivia saw only him. Afterward, in the quiet of the hall, James approached. "You were incredible." She smiled, eyes shining. He concluded, "I never left." They stood close, the world outside fading. "I'm not afraid anymore," Olivia whispered. "Not of them, not of this." James reached for her hand. "Then come home," affection, protecting him one last time. The city was alive that night. After the gala, Olivia and James walked through Central Park, the air crisp with spring's early promise, their hands intertwined as if nothing could break them. For the first time in weeks, there was silence between them, not the heavy silence of doubt, but the peaceful one of understanding. They didn't need to speak. They had chosen each other, but peace never lasts. The next morning, Olivia arrived at Madison Street Music School, the halls buzzing with excitement. New students were arriving, the staff preparing for the school's official grand reopening just a week away. Diana met her at the door, her face pale. "We have a problem." Olivia's stomach dropped. "What now?" Diana pulled out her phone. A news alert blazed across the screen. "Blackwood scandal resurfaces. Expose reveals link between CEO's past and city development, corruption, and below it, a name. Amelia Hartman." Olivia's breath hitched. No, it couldn't be. James sat in his apartment, the curtains drawn, the lights dim. A knock at the door. He didn't move. The knock came again, louder, sharper. "James, open the door, now." Olivia's voice. He stood slowly, unlocking it. She pushed her way in, holding the phone up. But James didn't even look. "I know." "You knew." "I found out this morning, same as you." He sat down, rubbing his face, exhaustion etched deep into his features. "She's back," he said, voice hollow. "Who is she?" "Amelia, my father's former partner, the one who helped him cover the early deals. Bribes, lies. She disappeared after his death, and now she's resurfaced." Olivia sat beside him, heart racing. "Why now?" James looked up, pain in his eyes. "Because of me. Because I didn't stay buried." That afternoon, as Olivia returned to the school, Amelia was waiting. Tall, elegant, dangerous. "Miss Reed," she said, voice smooth like silk over broken glass. Olivia's heart pounded. "What do you want?" "To talk. About James. About how you're ruining him." They stood in the empty music room, sunlight casting long shadows. "I don't know what you think you know," Olivia said stilly. "I know everything," Amelia replied. "I was there. I watched him try to clean up his father's mess, watched him fail. He's not who you think he is." Olivia clenched her fists. "He's not that man anymore." "No," Amelia smiled coldly. "Then why is the investor lawsuit back on the table? Why are Victor Reed and the board pushing for a full investigation?" Olivia's breath caught. He asked helpfully. He felt as if... Amelia stepped closer. "Not just his company. You too." That night, Olivia sat alone in the school, her fingers brushing the piano keys. James was drowning, and she couldn't watch. Not again. She stood, determination burning. If she had to protect him, she would. Even if it meant walking away. The next morning, Olivia met with Victor Reed. In his sleek office, cold and sterile, she stood tall. "I'll do it," she said. Victor raised an eyebrow. Do what? I'll walk away from James, from the school, from everything. But you, end this. Victor leaned back, amused. Interesting offer, and why would I trust you? His voice curbed suddenly. Because you want him gone, and if I leave, he'll have no reason to stay. Victor studied her. Fine. One condition. You leave tonight. Back at the school, Olivia packed her things. Diana watched, horrified. What are you doing? Have to protect him. No. He gave up everything for me. It's my turn. James arrived as she was leaving. Where are you going? Her eyes filled with tears. He answered, I can't stay. But why? Because you're losing everything, James, because of me. He grabbed her hands, desperate. I don't care about any of that. I do. She pulled away, her voice breaking. I won't let you fall for me. Olivia, please. This is the last time I protect you. And she walked out. Section 8. Fighting for her, not for power. The night swallowed New York, the city's glittering lights blurring through the rain-streaked window of James's empty apartment. Her letter lay open on the table, its words carved into his heart. If loving you means destroying you, then I'll love you from afar, always. He read it again, and again, and then he tore it in half. James stood, a storm brewing in his chest. For too long, he had let others decide his path. Victor. And now Olivia was gone because he'd been too afraid to fight for her. No more. He grabbed his coat. Tonight, he wasn't going to fight for power, reputation, or revenge. He was going to fight for her. At Madison Street Music School, the halls were quiet, empty. Olivia's absence was everywhere, in the silence, the dimmed lights, the piano untouched. Diana sat at the front desk, her eyes red. She looked up as James stormed in. Where is she? Diana stood, stunned. She's gone, James. Gone where? Few days. Victoire's understanding slid away. He left. James's chest tightened around her reluctancy. I won't let her run. Across the city, Victor Reed lounged in his office, sipping whiskey, a satisfied smile on his face. Until the door burst open. James. Victor stood, startled. What the hell are you? You crossed a line, James growled. I protected this company from your weakness and destroyed what mattered. Victor laughed. She was your weakness. You proved me right. James stepped closer, fire in his eyes. You want the company? Take it. You want the board? Have them. Victor's smile faltered. What I want is gone, James continued, and I'm done playing your game. He tossed a folder onto Victor's desk. What's this? Evidence of every illegal deal you made with Amelia Hartman. Victor's face drained of color. You wouldn't. I already did. Hours later, James stood before the New York Times building, heart pounding. Inside that folder was everything. The secrets his father left, the lies Victor buried, the rot at the heart of Blackwood developments. And John? He wasn't going to hide anymore. The next morning, headlines exploded. Victor Reed indicted, Blackwood whistleblower exposes decades of corruption. James Blackwood breaks silence. I choose truth and her. At Madison Street, Diana dropped the newspaper, eyes wide. She grabbed her phone. Olivia stood on a train platform, her suitcase by her side, the city skyline fading behind her. She hadn't planned where to go, just away from him, from the noise, from the pain. Her phone buzzed. Lib, you need to see this. I can't die. I can't. He did it. James exposed everything. Victor, Amelia, all of it. Olivia's breath caught. But he's not hiding anymore. The train began to board. Olivia stared at the open doors. Her heart pounded. James stood outside the school, rain falling softly around him. He didn't care. He would wish, as long as it took. Olivia arrived breathless, soaked, eyes searching. And there he was, waiting. She ran to him, tears streaming. What? He pulled her close, holding her like she might vanish. Because I love you. She shook her head, laughing through her tears. You didn't have to. With you I could be different. He cupped her face. I lost everything else, Olivia. I won't lose you. She leaned in, forehead against his. I didn't want to leave. I just wanted you to believe you were worth more. I do now, he whispered. Because of you. Section 9. Rebuilding dreams, facing one last storm. 6 weeks later, the Madison Street Community Arts Center stood taller than ever. What once was a crumbling memory had become a living legacy. Children ran through the halls. The sound of violins, pianos, and laughter filled every room. Walls once bare now showcased portraits of former students, including Eleanor Blackwood, James's mother, her image a quiet reminder of why this place existed. And at the heart of it all stood Olivia, clipboard in hand, her smile radiant as sunlight. By her side, James, sleeves rolled up, painting the final strokes on the newly named Blackwood Re-Performance Hall. But this time, Reed didn't mean power or betrayal. It meant Olivia. One afternoon, as they reviewed plans for a summer concert series, Olivia leaned against the office doorframe, watching James scribble over blueprints. You've changed, she said softly. He looked up, brow raised. For better or worse? For real, she smiled. James stood, pulling her close. I had to lose everything to find myself, to find you. They kissed, quietly, as the city moved outside their windows. It was a peace neither thought they'd ever earn. But peace, like love, is often tested. 3 days before the grand opening, Professor Bennett called an emergency meeting. There's a problem, he said, voice grave. Olivia and James exchanged a glance. The city council had received an anonymous complaint about the school's ownership. A legal technicality, something buried in the contracts James had never finalized before stepping down from Blackwood Developments. Victor's final revenge. They're freezing our funding, Bennett said, and delaying the opening. Olivia's heart dropped. They can't do that. And unless we prove this building is free from all disputed claims. James clenched his jaw. I'll handle it. But Olivia touched his arm. No, we will. The next day they stood before the council, hand in hand. James presented every document, every clean contract, every file. Olivia spoke from her heart. This place is more than bricks and mortar. It's hope, it's history. But the council wasn't easily swayed, until an unexpected voice rose from the back. Thomas, James's former assistant, holding a dusty ledger. I found this in Blackwood's archives, he said, stepping forward. It's the original deed, signed by Eleanor Blackwood herself, gifting part ownership to the community. Gasps filled the room. The council reviewed the document, and just like that, the claim vanished. Outside in the warm spring air, Olivia turned to Thomas. You saved us. Thomas smiled. No, I just returned what was already yours. That evening, James stood with Olivia beneath the stars. More storm, he whispered. She leaned into him. But we're still standing. It's grand opening night. The Blackwood Rear Community Arts Center glowed, alive with music, light, and joy. The guests filled the performance hall, supporters, students, friends. James adjusted his tie, nerves dancing in his stomach. "Are you ready?" Olivia asked. He nodded, but pulled something from his pocket. A small velvet box. Her eyes widened. "James." He opened it, revealing a delicate ring, timeless and simple. "Olivia Reed," he said, voice trembling but certain. "You rebuilt this place. You rebuilt me. Will you marry me? Not to fix me, but to walk beside me." Tears filled her eyes as she whispered, "Yes." Section 10. A Symphony of Forever. The night air shimmered with excitement as guests filled the newly restored Blackwood Community Arts Center. Laughter and music floated through the halls, mingling with the soft glow of chandeliers. The same ones Jamley's mother once admired, now lovingly preserved. Tonight wasn't just a grand opening. It was rebirth. Of a building, of a dream, of two souls who had weathered every storm. Backstage, Olivia stood before a mirror, adjusting the delicate silver clasp of her dress. Her hands trembled, not with fear, but anticipation. Diana peeked in, eyes shining. "They're all waiting." Olivia turned, smiling softly. "So am I." In the main hall, James paced near the piano, heart pounding. He wore a tailored suit, but his usual confidence was replaced by something rawer, more real. Thomas approached, handing him a small envelope. "What's this?" "A letter. Found it with Eleanor's things. Thought you should have it." James unfolded the paper carefully. "To my son. If you ever wonder what truly matters, listen to the music. Not the noise of the world, but the melody inside your heart. That's where you'll find yourself. And love. All." His eyes burned, but he smiled. She had known, even then. The lights dimmed. The audience hushed, and Olivia stepped onto the stage. She sat at the grand piano, the one that had witnessed her fears, her failures, and now, her triumph. She looked out, and there he was, James, not in the shadows, but front and center, where he belonged. Her fingers touched the keys, and the first notes of Chopin's Nocturne filled the hall, soft and haunting. She played for them, for their past, their pain, their promise. Every note a thread weaving their story into something beautiful, something unbreakable. As the final chord faded, the applause was thunderous. But Olivia's eyes never left James. He walked onto the stage, taking her hand. Facing the audience, he spoke, voice steady. This place began with music, and it was saved by love. Turning to Olivia, he knelt. "I asked you to marry me once, but tonight, in front of everyone who's been part of our journey, I want to ask again." He took her hand, his eyes locked on hers. "Will you write the rest of this symphony with me, Olivia?" Tears streamed down her face. "Yes, always, yes." The crowd erupted in cheers, but for Olivia and James, the world narrowed to just them. In that moment, there was no past, no fear. All live forever. The Blackwood Arts Center had become a beacon of hope in the city. Children from every corner of New York found a home there, just as Olivia once had. She taught, she played, she inspired. And James? He managed the center's growth, but more importantly, he stood beside her, not as the man who lost a company, but as the man who found his heart. One quiet afternoon, Olivia sat at the same piano, now worn smooth with love. A young girl, no older than Olivia had once been, approached shyly. "James Reed, will you play something just for me?" Olivia smiled. "Of course, but only if you promise to play with me someday." The girl nodded eagerly, and Olivia began to play, the notes dancing with light and life. James watched from the doorway, hand resting gently on her growing belly. Her family, their legacy, their love, all in perfect harmony. And current, a love that rebuilt more than a dream. There are stories that begin with lightning, sudden, striking, impossible to ignore. And there are stories like Olivia and James's. Stories that begin quietly, with a single note played in the dark, never meant to be heard. But someone was listening. From the moment Olivia's fingers first touched the piano keys in that empty restaurant, her life changed forever. Not because James Blackwood was a millionaire or because he could offer her the world, but because he saw her, not as a waitress, not as a problem to solve, but as a woman with a gift and a heart afraid to hope again. Through betrayal, loss, scandal, and sacrifice, they learned that love isn't about grand gestures or perfect timing. It's about standing together when the world tells you to fall apart. James had spent years running from his past, from his father's shadow, from the guilt of legacy. Olivia had spent years hiding behind fear, letting one moment of failure define her worth. But together, they found something stronger than fear. Faith in each other, in the power of music, in the belief that two broken souls could become whole, not by forgetting their scars, but by embracing them. They didn't save each other, they saved themselves, side by side. The legacy they chose. The Blackwood Reed Community Arts Center became more than just a restored building. It became a symbol, a place where children from every walk of life could come to dream, to learn, to grow. A place where James honored his mother, not through wealth but through giving. A place where Olivia taught others that your past doesn't define your future, that every heart deserves a chance to be heard, a love worth fighting for. Olivia and James didn't have an easy love. It was messy, complicated, full of moments where walking away seemed safer. But they stayed, they fought, they forgave. And in the end, they built something no scandal, no loss, no fear could ever take. Because true love doesn't ask you to be perfect. It asks you to be real, to choose each other again and again, even when the world makes it hard. Their final lesson. Love is not found in grand mansions or perfect plans. It's found in quiet moments, in shared dreams, in hands that refuse to let go. Family is not just blood. It's the people who see your soul and stand by it. Forgiveness is not weakness. It's strength in its purest form. Success is not just measured in money, but in lives touched, hearts healed, and legacies of kindness. Olivia once thought she had to lose love to keep her dream alive. James once believed he had to sacrifice himself to save her. But together they discovered a truth deeper than music. That the most beautiful symphony in life is written with two hearts.
Thank you for watching this Millionaire Love Stories today. Every love story is a journey, filled with passion, heartbreak, and unforgettable moments. And here at Millionaire Love Stories, we bring you the most captivating tales of love, wealth, and destiny. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget, like to support more incredible content. Comment your thoughts. Would you choose love over riches? Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next story. Millionaire Love Stories, because love knows no limits. Because love changes everything. See you in the next story.